What is going on, world? What's up, everyone? It's Zero here. Today I'm bringing you guys a brand new StarCraft 2 video. This one is between two players on the WCS Pro circuit, spawning here in the bottom right-hand corner of Acid Plant LE, playing with the blue Terran pieces. He currently wants to move this series in his favor after his opponent tied it up. His name is SpeCial. And his opponent spawning in the cross position, playing with the red Zerg pieces. He currently got on the board and wants to keep this series rolling in his favor. His name is Snute. So, guys and girls, Game 3 now in this best of 5 series between these two players that was played at the WCS in Leipzig. This was one of the quarterfinals of that tournament, and surprisingly enough, we are going to see really quickly that spawning pool is going to go down for Snute. So I'm wondering if he's deciding to get a little bit aggressive early on in this game. I like the decision a lot. I think that he should get a little bit aggressive earlier on in this game. I think that'll be a great move for Snute. But that said, Snute tied the series up, and so now he's probably feeling pretty confident, and that's why he's going to go for that spawning pool into the natural hatchery and then getting his gas last. So this should be very interesting. We're going to see some of those some Zerglings probably popping out here very shortly, and I think as we're looking at this at this game so far, guys, it does look like we are going to see a natural build or a pretty standard build by SpeCial. He's going to go for that barracks into the command center, or I should say barracks into the orbital command and then into the natural command center. So interestingly enough, there hasn't, it doesn't look like SpeCial decided to really scout. He is going to send a Reaper across the map to check out and see what exactly is going on. That being said, though, it does look like some of these Zerglings are going to start moving around the map just to see if there's any types of proxy barracks, because SpeCial tends to do this every once in a while in his games. There's been times where I've seen him do it a lot as far as the proxy barracks, the proxy starports. But in this game, nothing like that is being seen at this point. We are going to see a factory going down now for SpeCial, and a couple of Zerglings are moving across the map. Does look like they are going to try to get as much scouting information as they can. And it looks like SpeCial's on top of it, putting those supply depots up just to make sure he cannot see exactly what's going on. Now the starport follow-up is going to be coming in at this point as well. So we are going to see that Zergling speed upgrade coming up for Snute as well. Snute very well may have put that spawning pool down first simply because he may have thought that SpeCial was going to go for a cheesier build, going for something a little bit more aggressive across the map, going for like a 3 racks all in or something along those lines. You never know when it comes to playing a guy like SpeCial. So Snute, I think he was just trying to be a little bit more safe than sorry in that scenario. Does look, though, that he's going to be getting that third hatchery out at this point as we are approaching that 4-minute mark in the game. Both players are actually giving each other a good amount of respect at, at this point in the game. Really not a whole lot of, back and forth toying as far as with unit composition, but we are going to see the Liberators coming out of the starport for SpeCial. So SpeCial's decided to go ahead and get those Liberators out, which I like that decision a lot. The liberation zones can be a real pain for a Zerg player to have to deal with, especially if you're going for a more so ground-based unit composition. It does look like, once again, those Zerglings are going to try to get some scouting information, but those supply depots go up once again to deny anything, him being able to see really anything of what's going on at this point. We are going to see Stimpack being researched in that tech lab. And we're also going to see, some of these Hellions as well as a Reaper are going to be kind of just, you know, floating around the map, essentially, or, you know, driving more so around the map. We do see that third command center going to be being constructed right now for our Terran player, and now these Hellions are going to start moving in, and I kind of like this decision by our Terran player. He's got the Liberation Zone up above. He's going right after all of these drones. Beautiful play so far by SpeCial, getting a lot of value out of these Hellions so far, getting a lot of those, getting some drones, a lot of Zerglings. That was a very nice push by our Terran player. And just like that, it does look like Snute is going to start moving across the map with some Zerglings. Looks like he wants to mainly possibly go for a Baneling bus. He's got some Banelings on that production tab, 11 to be exact. He's got more Zerglings that are going to be coming up. So I'm wondering, is Snute gonna get aggressive? Stimpack is just about to be finished up here, but there's a lot of Banelings, and these Banelings are coming straight for those supply depots. They do go through. I don't know if this is enough damage though by Snute to really justify losing all of those Banelings, and they do all go down at this point. Very nice positioning on that siege tank. It looks like SpeCial was kind of sniffing that something was going on. So very nice play by our Terran player so far. And that third command center is going to be going down here very shortly. And the double medevacs are going to be coming out at this point. So I'm wondering if we're going to see a little bit of some Marine drops possibly on the opposite side of the map, as SpeCial, you know, is, in my opinion, one of the best, if not the very best in the world when it comes to the drop play with the Terran units. Looks like the layer's going to be morphing in here for Snute. He's also getting those +1/+1 upgrades out of the evolution chambers. The same can be said, though, for SpeCial. He's getting those ground-based unit upgrades as well. Combat Shield is being researched out of the tech lab as well. So both players are starting to get their upgrades, giving each other some more respect at this point in the game. And we're going to see the roly-poly upgrade coming in for Snute. And then we're also going to see the Infestation Pit coming in, as well as the Hydra Den. So very interesting. You know, Snute decides to get that Infestation Pit usually relatively quickly after getting his lair. I've noticed this after watching a decent amount of Snute's games. He likes to get that lair, or I'm sorry, that hive up relatively quickly. He likes having the option to get those higher tier hive-based units. Now here's where it's going to get interesting. The Marine drop is coming, and we're going to see those medevacs pick up and start flying away, but then we have another drop that's going to be coming, and I think this is a really good switch by SpeCial, going for some drop play with the Marines. Looks like he is going to try to possibly get the cancel on this hatchery, as Snute is yet to respond, as there's another engagement that's going on the right-hand side of the map. And it looks like some Zerglings are going to be able to get there in time. Nice positioning on these Marines, trying to get some of those kills. Beautiful positioning so far by SpeCial. He's playing this pretty well so far, and the cancel does come in. Beautiful play by our Terran player. The centrifugal hooks is going to be finishing up in less than 5 seconds. Ground carapace level 1 finishes up as well for Snute. So some good, of course, upgrades for our Zerg player are going to be coming in. But the same can be said for our Terran player, and these Marine drops are doing a little bit of some damage. So I think I think they're definitely, you know, this switch over to doing what SpeCial does best, and that is the draw play, is a very good move at this point. So he's now on to his fourth base that he is starting to construct at this point. Muscular Augments is just finishing up now as well for our Zerg player, which is the Hydralisk upgrade. But both these guys are playing pretty well. I would have to say, if you were to ask me who's in the lead, it's got to be SpeCial right now. He's got to be in the lead. He's doing more damage than what Snute has been doing. Now, I think Snute needs to start trying to do as much damage as possible, or start, you know, pushing across the map. It does look like once again, SpeCial is going to try to get that cancel. Does get it, and he's going to just pick up and fly away. Now these queens are going to be in a perfect position. Now you do not want to lose those medevacs. That was a nice, good control there by SpeCial, not to lose either one of those medevacs. Now, this is still a relatively scary army by Snute. And Snute could easily, you know, start moving out. I think he's a little bit concerned about leaving his base simply because of the Marine drops. And I think, you know, this is exactly what you want to do if you're a Terran player. You want to try and do your best at getting as much, you know, value out of these Marine drops, because it really keeps your opponent, especially a Zerg player, at home. And here we go. It does look like SpeCial is going to continue onward with some of this aggression, just clearing out so much creep spread. And he is going to be actually moving on to pretty heavily on to creep in multiple directions and multiple different places. SpeCial is everywhere. He's almost maxed out right now. He's going to go after a couple of these other, you know, these units of Snute. He's going after that Ultralisk. He is doing a little bit of some damage, but it might be a little bit of an overextension is the question I'm wondering, as he's trying to hit in multiple different areas. These siege tanks are doing a lot of damage, but I just don't know if it's quite enough. And Snute absolutely decimates that army of SpeCial, and now Snute, I think, is actually in the lead right now. The question is he going to overextend? This series so far has been one of overextending, and I think Snute might be overextending just a little bit right now, or is he? As all of these units, the Hydras and Ultralisks, are starting to move across the map, they're going to start going right after this third base location. Now, the siege tanks are in a good place, but the Zerglings are starting to go after all of these SCVs. The question is was there an overextension by SpeCial, and could that lead to the demise that is the lead that he had? Could this be the game that Snute takes a lead? And it looks like he is not going to get that lead as of yet, and SpeCial is able to hold on nicely. But I do think at this point, both players kind of evened up the score a little bit. I think now both players are dead even, really. When you kind of look at this, you know, Snute's on his 4th base at this point, but the same can be said for SpeCial. SpeCial is on his 4th and has been mining from it for a while. Now, this Ultralisk is going to be kind of caught on the opposite side of the map. I don't know if I like that decision. It looks like he's going to be caught. He's going to be essentially picked up for practically free. Possibly. Oh, just barely misses the opportunity. And so a little bit of some miss micro here by Snute, as these units are going to start moving back onto you know, the middle of the map, and it looks like some of these units are going to try to catch these Marauders and Marines off guard. Does not look like that's going to be the case, though, as SpeCial's playing this very well. Once again, guys, another massive, you know, micro game by both these players. And it's all coming down to, this series can be defined right now by a series of overextensions, I think, at least. When you watch this game, both players at some point in this series have overextended, and it's cost them a game or an engagement significantly. And so I think both these players, you know, SpeCial was in the lead, then he kind of fell behind. Snute then slowly but surely, you know, he ended up, you know, he took the lead, but not for long because he overextended. So I really think, guys, that the story of this series so far has been overextensions by both of these players. Now, we're starting to see, you know, of course, those +3 upgrades are going to be finishing up, and this is where you get into the late game as we are approaching that 14-minute mark between these two. I gotta say, you know, who's really got the advantage at this point? Some beautiful micro here by our Terran player. Could spell disaster for Snute, as those siege tanks are in a beautiful position, but beautiful transfuses on those Ultralisks. But I just don't know if is it enough. These Queens are under heavy fire, but it does look like he still has a decent amount of Queens, but these Queens are starting to die off relatively quickly. The question I have, though, is once again, is it going to be another overextension? Infantry weapons, level 3 is going to be finishing up just now, and we do see those Queens are going to start moving in, but there's a lot of siege tanks here. The question I have, is there an overextension? But it does look like there is just enough here for SpeCial. GG is called, and SpeCial takes a 2-1 lead over his opponent. I hope you guys did enjoy this game between SpeCial and Snute, and if you guys did, leave a thumbs up, subscribe for news, stay positive, and as always, I'll see you guys all in the next one. Peace.